Fly Me to the Moon is the film we're about to review. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard. This is Random Street Theater, and I have seen Fly Me to the Moon. Fly Me to the Moon is a fictionalization of the Apollo 11 mission, or rather the events leading up to the mission, wherein Scarlett Johansson is brought in as a PR director to try and make the American public more interested in the moon. She does other stuff. May I, of course, remind you that there is a giant patch of garbage not far from California, between California and Hawaii, to be honest. And for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from the company 4Ocean. And 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. So if every person on Earth that has the ability to do so subscribed to me on YouTube, I do not believe we would have enough to clean up the Pacific garbage patch. So you need to help me here. This is all of us. This is a very much a world thing, not just American. But anyway, so understand something, that this is the 60s. America is in Vietnam. My father is in Vietnam, in fact, delivering U.S. mail and banging prostitutes. The Apollo 11 mission is controversial. Apollo 1 had a horrible tragedy, killing 3 astronauts, and that is part of this story. And America is worried about communism, and some people are saying, why go to the moon? My throat is dry for some reason. I don't think I have anything here I can quench it with, but I do have some melting ice. So, a U.S. government dark agent, played by Woody Harrelson, finds the best advertiser in the world, who is a grifter character, played by Scarlett Johansson, and she goes to NASA and annoys the ultimate Boy Scout with a stick up his rear end, who is the director of NASA, played by Channing Tatum. And I mean, it's like if you were to equivalent these to DC characters, Woody Harrelson is Batman, Channing Tatum is Superman, and Scarlett plays that don't remember the name, but like her dad's a demon and she does magic character. So that's what you have. And of course, Channing Tatum with a stick up his rear end, he is all about the mission. He's doing this for God and country, and his only major concern is the fact that he's trying to go to the moon. Scarlett Johansson is brought in, and they, of course, automatically have a connection. And she is the ultimate liar. She is a chameleon who turns herself into whatever character she thinks is going to most likely convince people to give her what she wants. She's had a tragic past. And, she's out there going, look, we need to make these people celebrities. We need to put them on cereal boxes. We need brand deals. We need to create a media frenzy around this moon landing. Otherwise, we're not going to get the funding, and you're not going to the moon. And, in this movie, she's 100% correct. And to be completely honest with you, this is very similar to a pre-moon landing story I read about back in the day. I believe it was by, I can't remember, one of the big names in Larry Niven. I believe it was by Larry Niven. Maybe it could have been by Asimov, but I think it was Niven. And basically they were building a rocket to go to the moon, and they're like, okay, well, how do we fund it? Well, brand deals. That's how we do it. And it's called The Man That Sold the Moon. So a lot of these things have some kind of a kernel of truth into them. The reason we we put all this stuff together. And there is the element of them faking the moon landing, and what really goes out is the real footage and all those sorts of things. And there's a subplot about a cat that Channing Tatum hates because he's a bad person. And, eventually the cat winds up being a hero of its own. But the thing about this movie is that you believe these characters. Woody Harrelson is, an evil government goon, and you hate him. Channing Tatum is, the all-American hero, and I personally don't like him. And Scarlett Johansson, she just oozes charisma in this film, really shows her acting potential. It's like, here's the senator from Georgia, so she puts on a Georgia accent, and she woos the man, gets him to do what she wants. And that's this character. And I have to say, yeah, I was funny and I was entertained. I really enjoyed the part where Scarlett Johansson's husband, Colin Jost, shows up playing a senator, and they're showing him, these drawings of what the Russians could do with the moon. He's like, these are photographs? No, they're renderings. Future photographs. And he's like, why are we going to the moon? We're going to the moon to humiliate Russia. That was the reason we went to the moon. In that time, it was, we want our students to be the best in high school because we want to humiliate Russia. And throughout my lifetime, I don't know if it's still a thing today, my brother used to tell me, the Russians still have textbooks that say, someday we'll put a man on the moon. And the question is, do they say that because they don't know, or do they say that because they don't want to admit we got to the moon before them? The Russians were not very concerned with safety, so they didn't do it the way we did it. Look, we had, this one's going to fly out into space. This one's going to fly around the moon. This one's going to, it's like every mission they got a little bit closer, but we were flying, I think Apollo 10 flew around the moon and just didn't land to prove that the equipment could go there and come back. And it was finally the mission 11 where we had the LEM drop. I'm not dead sure on these things. I haven't looked it up. I probably should. But look, this is a comedy. I enjoyed this. I knew the actors. You guys know I hate everything. I watched Poor Things, and I just couldn't get through that movie. It was slow to me, and the animal abuse bothered me. I watched Kinds of Kindness, and by the third installment of that 3-part story, I was just going, oh God, please let this end. Fly Me to the Moon, I enjoyed. The footage, some of it looked vintage and some of it didn't. Some of it, I believe, was actual footage from that time period. And, I thought it was well done, funny, and highly entertaining. And, IMDb is giving this a 6.8. And critics on Rotten Tomatoes are giving it a 68%. So basically the same score. It's very consistent. But audiences are giving it an 88. All right? 88% approval rating, which is pretty high. So the bottom line is that this film belongs in the upper half of your watch list. It is a fun movie. And if you have the opportunity, you should be like, well, I'm going to be fun. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be uplifted. And I'm going to enjoy myself. That's what this movie is. Some people are saying it is a little too long, that the romance subplot is unnecessary. And yes, I do admit there are a few scenes that could probably be cut out of the movie without losing anything. They're not bad scenes, though. So, yeah. In all reality, it's a fun film. Wouldn't say it's incredible, but I do recommend it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. I, of course, am Richard. Greetings, humanity. Once again, Fred the Facehugger here, reminding you to comment, like, and subscribe. And of course you should do that because, if you look, I am wearing 2 bracelets. These bracelets are from 4Ocean, a company that pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time somebody buys something from them. Well, the owner of this channel has pledged to buy 1 bracelet for every 1,000 subscribers. And it's a very, very dirty ocean that you dirtied. So you should help him out and comment, like, and subscribe. Therefore, having him more subscribers so that he can buy more bracelets and clean that ocean. Or, yeah, I could fulfill my life cycle and hug your face. Don't you want a hug? Come over here. I want to give you a hug. I want to give you a hug right now. Yes, come over here, polluting human. Let me give you a hug.